Hey, I'm Greg Wolf. Thanks for stopping in. Everybody very excited about our guest on this show this past weekend. Of course, 142nd running of the Kentucky Derby. And Nyquist absolutely dominant as he wins the Run for the Roses. The 8th unbeaten winner in Kentucky Derby history. We're joined by his trainer, Doug O'Neill, right now. Doug, thanks for coming on. Greatly appreciated. I know you must be absolutely exhausted after the win.
Oh, I'm pumped up. It's such an amazing experience to be part of such an amazing horse like Nyquist. And yeah, I'm back in LA for a couple of days, checking in on the other horses we have, hoping there's a few other Nyquists in there somewhere, and then heading over to Baltimore Wednesday night.
How does that feel now to say this multiple two-time Kentucky Derby winning trainer Doug O'Neill have a nice ring to it?
It's got a great ring to it, and but I think the truth of the story is that the whole team, it's a second Derby win for the whole team, the whole crew. We got such an amazing group of horsemen, and we're like one big family. And so it's Leandro Mora leading the way, and it's a great feeling.
How did you feel going into this year's race? Obviously a little bit different than with I'll Have Another. You went in with an undefeated horse. You went in as the favorite. Was there a lot more weight on your shoulders?
It was a great feeling. In 2012 with I'll Have Another, he had a really good Bob Lewis, a great Santa Anita Derby, but to think he could win the Kentucky Derby off those two races and from the 19 hole, the expectations, I think from the whole team, we were very optimistic like we always are, but the expectations were low. And this year with Nyquist being 7 for 7 going into the Kentucky Derby and training so well, we were very optimistic, but just trying to stay even keel, knowing that there was 19 other horses in there thinking they could win, and just knowing how lucky and how fortunate you have to be to get a good clean trip. And Mario just did an unbelievable job navigating Nyquist to the victory.
That's such a big part of it. I mean, talk about the job that Mario did. You have a 20-horse field, and I think a lot of people who don't follow the sport that closely don't realize how difficult it is with 20 horses. All kinds of things can happen, and traffic-wise, trouble-wise, and he just got an absolutely perfect trip.
He really did. I think credit to Scott Jordan and the gate crew, too. I think they said it took a minute and 40 seconds to get all 20 horses in the gate. That's phenomenal. I mean,
Wow.
There's some races you watch where it takes a minute and 40 seconds to get one horse in the gate. So the gate crew there at Churchill did a great job, and Mario broke super, and just him being able to harness Nyquist's brilliance and his speed for the last part of it. I know it was very tempting for Mario to maintain his position going in that first turn and not let Mike Smith take it with Danzig Candy, but he knew they were going fast, and he decided to let Mike have it. And I really think that was a winning move right there. It was not that game of chicken, giving up that position, knowing the pace, and it really conserved the amount of energy that Nyquist needed for the winning punch.
What were you thinking about? I mean, it was an awfully quick pace, and Nyquist was not too far off of it. Were you looking up at these fractions and starting to get concerned?
I was, yeah. I was doing the math, and when I saw 45 and change pop up, I was trying to figure out where, how far back were we, and I knew it was somewhere in the 46, low 46s, and Mario and Paul Renham and I had talked about, 47 being the ideal half-mile fraction. Wherever 47 puts you, it'd be great. So I knew we were even going a little bit quicker than an ideal world would put us, but Mario just had him in a great, steady stride, and had him out of trouble, and just had him in a position. He had Gun Runner on the inside of him, and just had a great stalking position whenever he wanted to ask him, he could go. And but I pretty much felt confident most of the way. And but you're still, even mid-stretch, as Exaggerator was starting to make his move. We've all been nailed on a wire so many times that you're always worried of that wire coming up not quick enough, but thankfully it did last Saturday.
So, of course, you win the Kentucky Derby with I'll Have Another. Now you win your second with Nyquist. How is this horse different from I'll Have Another?
Well, the fact he's undefeated is different, and just the fact that he's been really trouble free since he started last year as a 2-year-old in June. He's just been, just the such a professional, both physically and mentally. And I always compare him in the fact that I'll have another if he was a, a human athlete. He'd be one of those that probably would party a little bit at night and sleep in a little bit and be tough as nails when he got to the gym, but maybe not the easiest guy to get in the gym. Where Nyquist acts like one of those guys that would go to bed early, get up early, be in the gym all day, and then get dressed up and go have a nice dinner and go back to to an early evening. So he's just very professional that way. The Derby with 165,000 plus there, screaming and yelling, and he never turned a hair, and that's just human, horse, whatever athlete is just a brilliant thing to watch.
The second largest Derby crowd in history, by the way, and to say that a horse doesn't raise a hair, that shows great composure. If you had to compare Nyquist maybe to a human athlete, who would you say he most reminds you of in terms of athleticism?
I think just being here in LA, seeing Kobe Bryant do some crazy things, and
okay,
that final game where the ticket was the hottest ticket in LA, and just preparing the whole season for his final game in LA, and what he did was just something out of a movie. And that's what working alongside Nyquist every day, it's like you're with it's like you're being part of a movie set or something. It's so unreal what he does day in, day out, and to see him what he did in the Derby was just Kobe Bryant ish, and so hopefully, unlike Kobe hanging up his shoes, hopefully we got a long run ahead of us with Nyquist.
Have you allowed to kind of start thinking what could be with this horse? I mean, we know you were on the cusp of a Triple Crown with I'll Have Another, and unfortunately didn't get to run in that Belmont Stakes. Have you thought about it though?
Oh, you dream about it for sure, and seeing American PHAROAH pave the way last year, winning the Triple Crown, which seemed, I was even one of the guys thinking that maybe they should put a month in between each race, and no one is ever going to hit it, and for American PHAROAH to do it, it really showed. It takes a special horse that doesn't come along very often, but prior to American PHAROAH, the Triple Crown got hit in 77 and again in 78, so I'm optimistic we can do the Seattle Slew Affirmed move with American PHAROAH Nyquist.
Yeah, they went back-to-back, 77, 78, so why not? Your brother, Dennis, I know obviously he's been so great finding horses for you, and he found this one at a sale as well. What do you think is his magic touch in terms of being able to spot horses for you guys?
Yeah, I think Dennis does such a brilliant job of when you go to these sales, there's so much stuff going on. There's so many horses previewing. It's splitting hairs with a lot of them. A lot of them look really good on the track, and then you're trying to separate. You're trying to mentally vet them out. How they act, and Dennis is just everything seems to slow down for him at those sales, and he really seems to pick out the little things that make a huge difference for us when we get them. And he's been wrong a lot. We all are, but man, when he locks in on one and he's right on, he's had some amazing success, and if he only did it a few times, I'd say it's luck, but I mean he's done it dozens of times. We've had a lot of good horses that Dennis has bought at these sales. So I think just being able to slow it down and not get caught up in the rat race of socializing and missing things that are easy to do when you're at those crazy sales.
Well, you guys make a great team. This entire team is great with Paul Redden, with Mario Gutierrez. So give us the latest with the horse, how he came out of the Kentucky Derby and arriving in Baltimore as well.
Nyquist came out of the Derby in great shape, ate up well, legs were ice cold, and he flew today from Louisville to Baltimore. So I talked to my assistant, Jack Sisterson, who flew with him. The whole crew actually flew out there with him. And everyone's really happy. We flew on Tex Sutton, who's a great airlines for horses, and just so far so good. He's now at Baltimore. We can take it easy for a day or two, and then we'll start him back on the track. And with such a short turnaround, we won't have to do a whole lot, but just kind of routine jogs, routine gallops, and we should be in good shape.
Doug, enjoy it. Congratulations. Try and get some rest. I know you're probably one of the most popular people on the planet right now, so we appreciate you taking the time, and we'll see you in Baltimore May 21st.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Greg. Thank you.
Doug O'Neill, two-time Kentucky Derby winning trainer, Nyquist, moving on to the Preakness Stakes May 21st.